Okay, we got a jam-packed call tonight, so let's get to it. We're going to have an hour here. About the Reach Out program, since we have so much to cover tonight, if you don't know what the Reach Out program is, you really should be on it. It's a list of people in this society who want to talk to other people. It's a great way to progress your journey through NeoThink by being on the Reach Out program and talking to other NeoThink members. If you have any questions about this, just give me a call tomorrow. And my number is 225. Do you have the recording number?
Yes, Charlie, I do. And I didn't give it out last week. I do have it. So if you, after the call tonight, about an hour after, if you missed something of the call or you want to review it, the callback number.
I have two areas. Sage, how are you?
Charlie? Juanita?
Yes. Hey, how are you?
Hello.
Hi. I'm doing great. Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. We do have that next big summit coming up. Sorry, Charlie.
That's okay. It's just good to hear you. Go ahead.
Great. Likewise, honestly. Every chance I get, it's so awesome connecting with you. And of course, guys, I'm out here again, just trying to tell everybody in our group about our next big event. It's the summit. We're calling it this year the Independent Thinkers Summit because it's evolved to this. We're all evolving and applying.
So here is what I'm going to tell you why they're doing that announcement. Here in the next couple days, I will be hosting one of my programs that I do on social media. It will either be the primetime show or the mini show. Regardless of what program I decide to do right here on YouTube, it will be replayed on a future event on my social media event that will start up again in September. Actually, it's September 4th that I will be back on the air on social media. I'm taking a little vacation from doing it, so this is the time for me to do some extra recordings and all that stuff, and then planning on my social media event coming in September. So here in the next few days, I will be up and doing a full-blown mini show or primetime show. But before the summer's over, there will at least be 2 shows that I have done throughout the summertime here on YouTube for the first time. So we're going to go back. This is Thursday night. This is a Thursday evening replay of the Frank R. Wallace call, the lead call. And they're talking about the event. And they're going to charge you $200. And if you buy a ticket now, you can get it for $150. But, you know, how do you feel about that? So I want to let you guys make your judgment. So I want to take you back to the lead call. So here it is.
Going over that material amongst friends in kind of a safe environment. It's not safe because there's, integrations can fly, and it really gets your noodle going, burning, by the end of the events. But this is our next chance where that'll all be happening. It's besides Frank Wallace's material, Mark Hamilton's great techniques. Also, we're going to have presentations, fun presentations on all those things, the power thinking and mini-day approach that we always touch on, the mind-muscle techniques. It's really all these techniques that NeoTech, new techniques to change. We don't want to live the status quo. We want to go after our dreams. We want to be happy now and chase that happiness, keep growing it. And that's the type of people that will be at this event. We call it the Independent Thinkers Summit because it's open to all independent thinkers. NeoThink is not limited. It's a universal concept, really. All these things can be applied, just like Mark Hamilton and Frank Wallace. Frank Wallace especially wrote No Dogma. It's more just constantly evolving and constantly ridding yourself of mysticism. And it's a constant weeding process. So that's the type of atmosphere you'll be in at this event, and the people around you will be they're students of the same kind of children discovering who they really are there. So it's really exhilarating. It is Saturday. That is September 14th, and it's from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So it's the full day. Like I've said before, we're trying to get more time in the afternoon, but Sunday, it's getting more finalized about the Sunday excursion that we have kind of happening the next day for the people that will be still in town. But the tickets and all this event is on Saturday. We'll give the details later about what we're trying to coordinate on Sunday as that side event for people. But Saturday, on that day, it's going to happen in Newark, that same awesome hotel that we've been to for a lot of our last big summits. It's the Marriott at the Newark Airport Hotel, right in the middle of the airport. And the place to get it, Eventbrite.com, better, really. But there's the $200 is after the, and the other option there is if you want a vendor table, you can get a vendor table for $35. And the code is independent speakers.
2521.
For anything, when I look back at it, it was so exciting, and I really had to grow being in that situation. So that's available if you're interested, and it's coming up soon, guys. We're less than 2 months away, and there's details. Yes, it's going to be the awesomest agenda, but the people being there, breaking bread together. There'll probably be a special dinner. There will definitely be a special dinner, but we're just working out the details on Saturday night for that. So it's just a really awesome special occasion, and I can't wait to be there. And I can't wait for you guys to continue on the rest of this call and getting the Frank Wallace information. Now,
You got the 800 number, say?
At the 800 number, thank you, Charlie. That is 800-997.
Students getting together. Well, this is a big play date here. Yeah, the play date was a whole bunch of
Yes,
things.
right. That's exactly it. I can't wait.
Me too. So thank you, Sage.
Thank you, guys.
We are going to continue. Just a reminder too, we don't have a Q&A on this call, but we do stay over. At 9 o'clock, I will announce that, this is the end of the call. And then me and Juanita will take a 2 or 3 minute break. And then we will come back, and if you have any questions at that point or any comments, just hit *6. And then you're up and running, and then we will, and that usually lasts about a half hour. So you do have a chance to speak at the end of the call. But we are going to continue from last week. We were in chapter 25, and we talked about are you Zion and what is Zion power. I think we covered that pretty good. But the last 3 pages, and again, this is in the other page for the Prime Discovery, Juanita?
Yes, Charlie. It's page 221, and I believe it's in book 4 of the Prime Discovery, chapter 25. Are you Zon? What is Zon power?
And it's in the Neo Tech 2 key book, right?
I believe so, Charlie. I'm not sure what page. I have to be honest.
No, I think it's on page like 220. 220
It should be on the same page. Yeah.
Same page numbers, yeah. So it's in there. But the last 3 pages of this, it's very, I always liked how both Mark Hamilton and especially Frank R. Wallace always came out with backup. After they had, like in certain chapters, they tell you this and this, but then they put it like in charts and graphs. And I always thought that was fascinating, especially Frank R. Wallace did it a lot. And it's pretty cool to really read through it. So we are going to cover those 3 pages tonight, and we might not even get. It all depends because I went in a whole different direction Juanita with this because there's so much in here. You know, but like he's talking about like in chart 1, he always puts like, it's like the old Ben Franklin clovers. You know, you put a line down the middle of the page and you put like the positives on one side and the negatives on the other. And Frank R. Wallace did this constantly through his writings. And in this one, he puts he has the parasitical elite value destroyers on one side of the chart, and on the other side, he has the economic value and job producers. And then he starts out and he says the state of being. And the state of being for basically the AC world is diseased, ridiculous, unfocused, destructive, self-corrupted, you know, uncompetitive, and you know all those negative terms that we use out there. They don't really have. They don't have any common sense. They don't have, you know, they're dishonest, they're guilty, unhappy, all those. And then on the other side, he has healthy, important, focused, productive, noble, self-made, competitive, natural minds, integrated thinkers, honest, serious, innocent, happy, all those good traits that we all shooting for. And I always liked how he just compares it all the time and how he does it. And then he gives examples and some of the people that he thinks were not good people in the past, like Alexander the Great, Plato, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, you know, Napoleon. And then he goes into some of the current people like Giuliani. Now, he has a lot of reasons for Giuliani. You have to read some of this to really understand that. Dishonest professors and journalists and money-made lawyers and doctors and so on and so forth. And then on the other side, he has the examples of some of the good people in the past, like Socrates and Galileo and Newton and Jefferson and Darwin and Mark Twain and Andrew Carnegie. And then some of the current ones he has on here is like Steve Jobs, Honda, Michael Milton, Dershowitz, Hemsley, Bill Gates, honest writers and editors, blue-collar workers, local policemen, value-producing housewives and teachers, entrepreneurs. So that's a difference that's a difference between basically the AC world and the C of U, that civilization of the universe. But then he goes into, and this is where I got a little carried away with this today. He has the archetypes. And he has many politicians, many lawyers, bureaucrats, journalists, all the business, bad people, the socialists, the fascists, the criminal, the arch enemies, the armed agents of force, political entrepreneurs. And I was thinking about, that's a word that we don't hear, you know, I mean, there's probably about 20 words on this, just this one page that you have to look up in a dictionary to understand what it is. And I said archetypes. I said, I know what that is, but let me go back and check anyway. And you find out it's amazing when you do just a little research. And this is where I went crazy. So I am going to cover this for a little while. It says the term archetype has its origins in ancient Greek. The root words are basically, which means original or old. And then the endpoint, the typos, which vary pattern, model, or type. It's where the word prototype came in too. So, but the psychologist Carl Jung, he used this, and basically he used the concept of archetypes in his theories of the human psyche. And he believed that the universe, mystic characters, archetypes, reside within the collective unconsciousness of people the world over. And they represent fundamental human emotions of our experience as we evolved. They evoke deep emotion. And there's all different types, but he came up with 12 types altogether. And try to figure out what types that you are. And in the types, there's like positive and negative in it. So you have to really, this is how we learn, and we all have these types in us, at least some of it. So I put this with Stockton because I never really knew all this before. And he calls them the ego types, all right? And number one he has is the innocent. And that motto for these people is free to be you and me. It's a core desire to get to paradise. Your goal is to be happy. It's like what we have here. Your greatest fear is to be punished for doing something bad or wrong. Your strategy is to do things right. Your weakness is born for all those naive innocents. Talent, faith in opposition, optimism, and then the innocent is also known as traditionalist, naive, mystic, saint, romantic, and dreamer. So that's just the first one. The second one is called the orphan, regular guy or gal. Motto, all men and women are created equal. Core desire is connecting with others. Goal, to belong. Greatest fear, to be left out or to stand out from the crowd. So this is where it starts to break, where you see some of the characteristics that Neo think wants us to have, but then you also see in the same coin here is some of the negatives of it, okay? Our fear is not to be left out or to stand out from the crowd. Strategy, develop ordinary solid virtues, be down to earth, to calm and touch. Our weakness, losing one's own self in an effort to blend in or for the sake of superficial relationships. There's an AC part there, right there. Talent, realism, empathy, and lack of pretense. But the regular person is also known as the good old boy, everyman, the person next door, the realist, the working stiff, the solid citizen, the good neighbor, and the silent majority. So which one of those words describe you? Then we go to number 3, which is called the hero. And that motto is, where there's a will, there's a way. But the core desire is to prove one's worth through basically courage. The goal, expert masonry in a way that proves the world. Greatest fear, weakness, vulnerability, and becoming a chicken, in brackets. Strategy to be as strong and confident as possible. The weakness is arrogance, always needing another battle to fight. Talent is confidence and courage. But the hero is also known as the warrior, the crusader, rescuer, superhero, the soldier, dragon slayer, and the winner and the team player. So it seems like there's, in all of these categories of an archetype, is basically good and bad. But you have to separate and take the ones that you think are you and throw out the other ones. 4 is the caregiver. I know that's a lot of people here. I want to help people. I want to help people. That's what almost everybody here says at one point or another. So the motto is, love your neighbor as yourself. The core desire is to protect and care for others. The goal is to help others. The greatest fear is selfishness and ingratitude. Strategy, doing things for others. Weakness, being a martyr and being exploited. And that's a lot of people here. Talent, compassion, and generosity. And the caregiver is also known as the saint, altruist, parent, helper, and supporter. 5 is the soul types. The explorer, motto, don't fence me in. Core desire, the freedom to find out who you are through exploring the world. The goal is to experience a better, more authentic, more fulfilling life. But the biggest fear is getting trapped, conformity, and inner emptiness. There's our fears right there. Strategy, journey, seeking out and experiencing new things, escape from boredom. Weakness, aimless wandering, becoming a misfit. Talent, ambition, being true to one's soul. But the explorer is also known as the seeker, the wanderer, the individualist, and a pilgrim. 6 is the rebel. Motto, rules are made to be broken. 4 core desire is revenge or revolution. Goal, to overturn what isn't working. Greatest fear, to be powerless or ineffectual. Strategy is to disrupt, destroy, or shock. Now I found this one very interesting, the rebel, because we do want to have a revolution. We don't want it with guns. We don't want it with force. But you can have a peaceful revolution. Strategy has disrupt and destroy or shock. We definitely want to disrupt. We want to disrupt this AC world. So you have to be careful on words. But so that you're not. We don't want to destroy. We want to take away government, but we don't. So in a way, we do want to destroy it, but not by how we think of like a revolution with guns and bombs and all that stuff. Talent, outrageousness, and radical freedom. But the outlaw is also known as the rebel, revolutionary, wild man, the misfit. Now you go from the rebel to 7 is the lover, and that motto, you're the only one. Core desire, intimacy, and experience. Goal, being in a relationship with the people, work, and surroundings that they love. The greatest fear is being alone, a wallflower, unwanted, unloved. So it's taking all the good things about being a lover, and all of these other ones are too, and then it's also putting in there all of the bad things, like the weaknesses. Outward directed desire to please others at risk of losing own identity. And how many times have we done that? To lose our own identity by trying to help others. Talent, passion, gratitude, appreciation, and commitment. But the lover is also known as the partner, friend, intimate, enthusiast, sensuous, spouse, team builder. So it does go back and forth here, just like our psyche does. The creator. The motto for them is, if you can imagine it, it can be done. The core desire is to create things of enduring value. The goal is to realize a vision. The greatest fear is mediocre vision or execution. Strategy, develop artistic control and skill. The task is to create culture, express own vision. Weakness, be imperfect and bad solutions. Talent, creativity, and imagination. But the creator is also known as the artist, the inventor, the innovator, the musician, the writer, or the dreamer. And then there's the jester. Motto, you only live once. The core desire is to live in the moment with full enjoyment. And that's what we don't do enough, I think, many of us. We don't live in the moment. The goal is to have a great time and lighten up the world. The greatest fear is being bored or boring others. Strategy, play, make jokes, be funny. Weakness, wasting time. I find that one very fascinating, wasting time. The talent is just joy. But the jester is also known as the fool or the trickster or the joker or the practical joker or a comedian. Number 10 will fit a whole bunch of us in this one too. It's called the sage. Motto, the truth will set you free. The core desire is to find the truth. Boy, I think that hits a lot of us. The goal is to use intelligence and analysis to understand the world. Wow. I think that describes neothink. The biggest fear is being dumped, misled, or ignorant. I know ignorance is the one that drives me crazy. Strategy, seeking out information and knowledge, self-reflection, and understanding thought processes. Weakness, can study details forever and never act. Aha. I like that one. Don't you, Juanita?
Yes, I do.
Can study details forever and never act. Like we always say, you can read these books till you're blue in the face and understand every word of them, but if you don't put them into action, that's the weakness. Talent, wisdom, and intelligence. The sage is also known as the expert, scholar, detective, advisor, thinker, philosopher, academic, researcher, thinker, planner, professional, mentor, teacher. All those go with the sage. 11 is the magician. The motto is, I can make things happen. Core desire, understanding the fundamental laws of the universe. Goal is to make dreams come true. Greatest fear, unintended negative consequences. Strategy, develop the vision and live by it. Weakness, becoming manipulative. Talent, finding win-win solutions. And the magician is also known as the visionary, a catalyst, an inventor, charismatic, a leader, shaman, healer, and medicine man. And last one is the ruler. Motto is power isn't everything, it's the only thing. Core desire is control. Goal, create a prosperous, successful family or community. Strategy, exercise your power. Greatest fear, chaos, being overthrown. Weakness, being able to control everybody, unable to delegate. Talent, responsibility, and leadership. But the ruler is also known as the boss, the leader, the aristocrat, the king, the queen, the politician, role model, manager, or administrator. So you can be labeled under a ruler as some good things, like a role model, a manager, or an administrator. But he also, king, queen, a politician, the aristocrat, that's the boss, that's the bad thing. So just looking at that one word, and this is why I love NeoThink and NeoTech. You start to research some of the things that's in here, just finding the meaning of a word, and I found this whole thing today that I thought was pretty cool. But this is what happens a lot when you really do open up a dictionary or open up the internet and you start to investigate certain people or certain terms or certain words. That's where the integrations come from. That's where you start to put two and two together. And that, so basically I was sitting there and I'm saying, you know what? Because I'm having a strange couple of weeks here and I'm not doing as many things as I want to do right now. And I was sitting here and I'm saying, I haven't really learned anything new today. So let me go through some of this and see what I can learn. And there it was. And that just popped up at me. So I don't know if that helped you or not, but it's just the way that take this information. It can be so much fun to learn things off of these pages and then go to investigate some other things and find out more about it. And now you start using this knowledge and you start putting it into these pages, and then all of a sudden now you have these integrations popping up left and right. Now you're starting to get excited about this. Learning is becoming fun again because we're staying in our childhood of the past. That's how we move forward here. And I got lost in this for about an hour today. I'm just going through it, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm saying, you know what? If I just cover that tonight and not even these other two pages, because the other one, chart 2 is discover the power of Zion, okay? And that one's short, simple, to the point. And then the last page, he has a couple more charts on it, too. So it's just, he likes to back it up. And he likes to use fancy words. So you got to have a dictionary here. You got to start looking up because it really, why does he use certain words? Why did he use this as an example? Archetypes, okay? And that really answered it for me. So that's how you research. That's how you read this information. This is not a speed. A whole bunch of people say, "Geez, I wish I could speed read." No, you don't, because you won't retain as much as you will just reading. This is not like a sprint here to read these books. If you're going to read them and understand them, and and do some research on some of these words and see, and just say, why did he use this word? Why is he using these examples? It starts making more sense out of all of this. And with that, Juanita, I'll throw it back to you.
Wow, Charlie. That was a lot to absorb. But
there is a lot there, yeah.
Yes, and so much comparison with our NeoThink literature. But also, I got out of it your one word where it took you on your research, on your investigation, and how it opened your mind to learn. And that's what NeoThink does. Once we embrace and know that we're not going to understand all the words, but once we take that word and we say, wait a minute, how does that sound? Why is he using it? And Charlie just gave us a great example how he puts the questions right out there in front of him, and he brings his Zon to life, and he takes it to the next level, and he's going to discover many other things on his journey into exploring. So I wrote down as fast as I could, but you were talking so fast, Charlie. I was like, wow, that was a huge lecture. When I was going through this, I realized that for us to really identify what the examples that he wrote out here, and Charlie went over of the people and why he put them there, because some of them we didn't realize that he looked at them in that example. Like, for instance, one for me is FDR, because I've heard other members talk highly of FDR. But however, when I go back through, he must have found by their actions how they looked at moving in the sea of you, the universal life. And I know that Dr. Wallace was for the blue collar person, the entrepreneur, the risk taker, and because he knows that's what's going to move society forward, is that business person, that business mind, that integrated mind. I just found it very interesting that the way he wrote about the potential drainers of human life, and he even mentioned JFK. And what I thought very interesting is that he was so about the knowing yourself inside and out. And he mentioned how to remove their images and their names from stamps and money and monuments and streets and buildings, because we are giving recognition to the wrong person. It's like we're going backwards in a reverse. And he was showing us the positive and negative of who we should be supporting, which one thing is ourselves, because we are those garage entrepreneurs, just having this literature. And that's what I brought out of it today, Charlie. I just wanted to say, wow, you just really took it off the charts here for me and blew me away.
Yeah, it's funny because I was going through that, and I remember me and Steve covered this a while ago. And at that point, because he has the examples of some people in the past, like FDR and LBJ, as bad President Woodrow Wilson, but he also has Lincoln in there. And I know I was surprised to see Lincoln's name on there, and I did some research years ago on that, and I can't find the papers because I got everything packed away here because I'm moving this weekend. So basically, I'm going to put a challenge out there this week. If anybody can figure out why he has Abraham Lincoln as a harmful person, and then let me know sometime next week if you have the reason, and then I'll have you come up and talk next Thursday on this call. Because I know I won't have the time, and it's bugging me. I won't have the time this week to do the research on that. But if somebody will take charge of that, I would really appreciate it, and all of us would. So let me know if you want to do that, and just give me a call tomorrow, and let me know that you will look into that. I just can't find my old notes on it, and I really can't remember exactly why he did that, because it's like, to me it was like, whoa, why does he have Lincoln on here? I got to find that out. Again, that's how we should attack this literature. If you don't understand something, I got to figure that out. I got to look it up. And to see why he thinks that way. Because I sound like with Frank R. Wallace, he gives a lot of predictions in here, and he wrote this stuff a long time ago. And I always remember the one that he wrote, and out of many, and he said something like, and I think it was in Pax Neotech, and he said, as long as there's one jihad still living, there will never be peace in this world. And I thought, well, come on, man, that's a little overdone, isn't it? But then the more you read, the more you understand about what is happening in the world today. He's absolutely correct. So he has a reason for having Lincoln under here, and I just cannot think of it. And so if somebody could take that on as a challenge to find out why he has Lincoln on the same sentence with Hitler, Lenin, John Dewey, the Ayatollah, Julius Caesar, Plato. He has like the bad names in here, and he has Lincoln. So let's find out why. And I think that'll be fascinating next week.